Hello everybody, I'm Mango Thunderslice, and today I'm doing some yard work, and I'm using an electric weed whacker, so I gotta wait for the battery to recharge. I had a corded one, but I bought the wrong reload cable for it, whatever it's called, and it wasn't working properly, so I smashed it into oblivion. See, this is the thing, is that, you know, the human condition is very full spectrum, right? There's a lot of things that go on, you know. I try when I make videos to put out a very good energy, but I can't just put out the good energy because that would be dishonest to my my other side, my angry dark side, you know. And listening to Jesse Lee Peterson has helped me acknowledge that, you know, anger is not something necessarily to hold on to forever. It is something to be conquered and transformed and transmuted, right? But it's very, as a redhead, right, it's sometimes your impulses get the better of you and you just have to destroy something, right? So, you know, anyway, I guess just gonna kind of rant a little bit, you know. I think that enough of you appreciate it that I might as well continue to make videos to that effect. I'm still going to make very nice letters to Isla going forward, but it's also important to me, and you know, I think important objectively to actually communicate a sort of more raw truth of what's going on in this world. And, you know, I was just listening to Owen Benjamin. Owen Benjamin, I am so happy for the human race right now. I thought comedy died with Robin Williams. I really thought it was dead and gone and it was over with. And the rest of comedy history would be just a bunch of SJW pussies like Trevor Noah, right? Just making non-funny racial statements, right? And expecting their programmed progressive liberal religion, you know, acolytes to just, you know, chuckle half-heartedly. Right, and it's so lame. This state of comedy has been so lame. I don't even remember what year it was that Robin Williams died. You know, rest in peace, Mr. Williams. But Owen Benjamin is absolutely fantastic. He is an amazing true comedian who is intelligent enough to understand the nature of the work that he's doing, right? And one of the things he was just joking about was the whole transgender children thing, right? That there are children who think that they're transgender, right? A boy identifies as a girl identifies as a boy, and because of the whole ideological programming in the culture today, the parents just go along with it, right? And and they just say, oh yeah, my child will never change their mind. They don't develop past 5 years old, so let's just basically put them on puberty blockers. We'll put them on hormones when they're, you know, in their teens, and it'll all be good, right? We'll just commit them to this medical future and sterilize them, and it'll all be great because they said that they're a girl. They identify as a girl, so we have to listen to them because the 5-year-old child is the ultimate authority of what's going on in reality. I mean, that just speaks so perfectly to the mindset of some of these white progressive liberals. Is just, they have no connection to reality anymore. Their connection to reality has been and is the media, right? So if the media tells them transgender children is normal, then it's normal, and they believe that, and then it's up to them to adapt to the new modern culture that is correct, unequivocally, and they are wrong for thinking traditionally that a boy is a boy and a girl is a girl, right? There are intersex people with both genitalia, right, or, you know, some amalgamation of both genitalia. But that's an exception to the rule. The rule is still is that human gender is binary, and gender wasn't even used as a word for the purpose of human sexuality up until the last few decades when this whole progressive liberal state religion started taking hold, right? Absolutely freaking absurd. I'm totally cool with kids playing around with their identity, right? You think you're a fire truck, you think you're a dinosaur, you know. I played with dolls, or at least I wanted to. I don't think my parents ever bought me a doll because the transgender ideology cult hadn't really taken hold yet. You know, I liked to do jump rope with the girls in elementary school. It was just, I just thought it was fun. It wasn't a big deal to me. And I'm not saying that's equivalent with a little boy who actually wants to dress up as a girl and be a girl. But I'm just saying that when you're young, identity formation is a very fluid process, absolutely, right? You know, people think they want to be a unicorn, they want to be a fire truck, etc., right? And it's not limited to the human frame. It's just about affect, right? Of psychological affect. You see an object and you interact with it and you like it, and, you know, basically it becomes a part of your identity, right? So, you know, especially when kids are planted in front of the media from day one, right? They see all this wild, crazy shit on there, and they think, oh yeah, I want to be that. I want to be that, right? A little boy sees, you know, basically, you know, whatever feminine delusion that the media is promoting and thinks, I want to be that, right? And reverse for, you know, the girl and the boy. And of course, it's not just psychology. There's, you know, physiology and biochemistry, right? There's the hormones in plastics, like bisphenol A, BPA in plastics. People are just microwaving, you know, plastic and giving it to their children in baby bottles or food or even in their own bodies, right? You know, there could be pre-birth influences that cause kids to basically have a dissociation between their physical sex and their idea of themselves as a gender. But of course, even those children who have gender dysphoria, right, where they don't know their own gender, by the time they reach young adulthood and their natural hormones start kicking in, they realize, hey, okay, I'm a boy, I'm a girl, right? And from that point, it's normal. And there are plenty of people, the majority of them, who have gender dysphoria when they're a kid, they grow up normally, and then they realize that was just a phase, right? But what we have now is parents who are inculcated in a total delusion, an ideological delusion, who take the word of their 5-year-old as if it's the gospel truth, and then they commit them to a medical timeline that is irreversible, right? Putting a child on puberty blockers, putting them on hormones that are not normal or natural for them, they are permanently sterilized. There is no going back from them, right? They are committed for life medically to this, you know, identity formation delusion that they had when they were 5 years old. And crazy freaking parents who play into this stuff, they should be treated as child abusers, not as vaunted heroes of our progressive culture. It is bullshit. Complete bullshit. Space Panther and I just watched, you know, a documentary about transgender children, and, you know, in one sense, tugs on the heartstrings, right? It makes you really think that, you know, these parents are doing the right thing. A lot of them aren't really comfortable with it to begin with, but it's like there's a couple different things that show the holes in the whole perception and the argument, right? It's like the interviewer asked the parent, do you see your child ever changing their mind and thinking, no, okay, I'll be a boy or I'll be a girl? And they're like, no, I could never see my child changing their mind. They're 5 years old. What are you talking about? Your child's not going to change their mind going forward from when they're 5 years old? Are you retarded? Are you kidding me? I mean, this is being passed off as rational discourse in our culture today. It is completely insane. And I love that there's actual comedians out there, Owen Benjamin, who will stand up and speak the truth in the face of politically correct cell phone tweeting culture, right? Outrage culture. It is so heartening to know that somebody is smart and articulate enough to actually speak the truth. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not, you know, I'm not a comedian. I laugh a lot. I make a lot of jokes inside my head. I don't know if I could actually get up on stage and be a comedian, because I'd inevitably start talking about something serious, and then people would get sour-faced and walk out of the building. But, you know, it's all good. Everybody's got their role to play. But, oh man, to actually laugh, oh man, feels so good. And, you know, I can't laugh at half-assed politically correct bullshit, right? I can only laugh at the truth, right? And Owen Benjamin knows that well enough to speak it. And, you know, that's it. It's just, I actually started engaging in Twitter recently, and I've been having a hell of a time arguing with, you know, progressive liberal state acolytes, you know, about vaccines and climate change and, you know, just trolling people and trolling the whole narrative, right? Just, you know, the New York Times and CNN. It's just really fun to just troll these, you know, progressive beacons, because they're so full of shit. And there's so many people who really think that this is the gospel truth. Like, they're informed because they watch CNN and they read the New York Times. Please. It's such a joke. They make fun of us for actually diving into information in the internet, you know, and actually, you know, getting into that granular aspect of information. And they say, oh, we're a bunch of conspiracy theorists. Yeah, it's hilarious. They can only understand a basic, you know, preteen narrative, and they call us illiterate for actually going on the internet and going to first-hand sources, right? Going to first-hand data and evaluating it using our common sense and rationality. But that's what it is. That's what the culture war is. It's the Marxist program that was designed at least a century ago, playing out in scripted format, and people who are just normal people reacting against it. And for a long time before a certain critical threshold, which seemed to coincide with the Trump phenomenon, people they just laid down, they kneeled, they just, okay, oh, I'm sorry, they apologized, right? Now people, you know, at least those who are hip to the game, they're not apologizing. They're just saying, you know what, go fuck yourself. Like, I know who I am, I know what the truth is, and I'm not gonna buy this bullshit and eat it up with a spoon like you want me to, right? And that's the reaction that people are having to the media. CNN, the New York Times, MSNBC, these are the enemy of the people. They are fake news. It's the most beautiful phenomenon to see how that term has backfired against them. They thought when they rolled out the term fake news that they were just going to conquer the deplorables with their subtle use of Orwellian doublespeak, but oh, that really didn't work out well for them. No, it did not. Oh man, it's just really good. There's a lot of crazy stuff in the world, but you know, I used to feel really bad about all that crazy stuff as if it was this inevitable victory for the dark side. Now I feel like it's an inevitable victory for the light side, right? It's, you know, we're not there yet, but we're definitely going there. If people are not afraid to speak, we will get there. I guarantee that. Right, no matter what happens to me or Owen Benjamin or anybody, Milo Yiannopoulos, right? It's a cultural phenomenon. There is no such thing as racism, right? There's only good and evil, right? And all cultures are not created evil, or not created equal, right? Genital mutilation in Islamic cultures is evil. I don't care if it's their culture, right? You know, it's there's an objective morality that we can actually evaluate ourselves by and hold ourselves accountable to. But these people don't believe in it. It's all moral relativity, you know. And then, you know, in science, there's nothing to actually be known. It's all just you know, general relativity, right? And I'm taking on the full spectrum battle, and I'm having a great time with it. I hope you guys are too. So that's my little, you know, micro rant today. Again, continuing to make videos that are positive, letters to Isla in the future, and, you know, instructing people on the true divine aspect of this universe. But at the same time, there's still the shit slinging and the mud, and, you know, you got to deal with life as it comes. You know, you got to play it as it lays. And so, yeah, I'm going to continue doing that, enjoying the full spectrum aspect of my human personality, you know, knowing that I am connected to God, and also, you know, if you're not, if you're connected to God, you're able to dance with the devil and not get too upset about it, right? Not to be upset when he misses a step.